It was raining the day my parents kicked me out, not a light drizzle, but a torrential downpour that drenched me to the bone as I stood in the driveway, clutching my laptop bag, while my father flung a suitcase of my belongings at my feet. "Marcus needs the space for his office," he yelled over the sound of the rain. "He's actually doing something with his life, unlike you and your silly coding projects." Marcus, my older brother, the one who had everything figured out, he'd just landed a junior role at some investment bank, and suddenly, my childhood bedroom was no longer mine. Never mind that I had been quietly freelancing as a software developer for 2 years, balancing that with online classes. In their eyes, I was just Emily, their 20-year-old failure who spent too much time in front of screens. "Dad, please," I begged one last time. "I can pay rent, I'm making money with my work." He scoffed. "Those little websites you build, Marcus makes more in a week than you do in a month. We need that room for someone who actually deserves it." Behind him, my mother stood in the doorway, arms crossed, silent. She never said a word when it came to Marcus. "You have an hour to get your stuff," my father said, his voice cold. "Anything left goes in the trash." I glanced up at the window to my room. Marcus was already inside, measuring the walls for his new office furniture. He caught my eye and smirked, giving a little wave with his expensive watch catching the light. An hour later, I found myself sitting in a 24-hour diner, my whole life condensed into a laptop bag and a small suitcase. The waitress, seeing my drenched clothes, brought me a steaming cup of coffee without saying a word. I opened my laptop, the one thing I truly cared about, and began to plan. What they didn't understand was that those little websites were the foundation of something much bigger. For the past 2 years, I'd been working on an algorithm, one that could predict market trends with shocking accuracy using predictive data analysis. It had already caught the eye of several investors, but I hadn't told a soul. Now, with nothing left to lose, I opened my inbox and found the message I had been holding on to. It was from Viktor Petrov, a venture capitalist who'd been trying to meet with me for weeks. "Dear Mr. Petrov," I typed, my fingers trembling just a little, "I'm ready to discuss your investment offer. When can we meet?" His response came in minutes, despite the late hour. "Tomorrow, 9 a.m. My office." I used the last of my freelance savings to book a cheap hotel room for the night. As I lay there, listening to the rain against the windows, I made a vow to myself. One day, they would regret this. The next morning, I slipped into my one professional outfit, black blazer and slacks, and made my way to Victor's office. His secretary took one look at my slightly damp clothes and humble attire but ushered me in without comment. Victor wasn't what I expected. No crisp suit or intimidating air, just a man in his 50s, wearing jeans and a sweater, typing away at multiple screens. "So," he said without looking up, "you're the genius behind Atlas. I've been waiting for you to get in touch." I blinked. "How did you know it was called Atlas? I never mentioned that." He grinned, finally turning to face me. "I've been testing it, bought a subscription under Fedit market data. The results? Impressive, very impressive." He slid a folder toward me. Inside was a contract offering $2 million in seed funding for 15% of my company. "But there's a condition," he added. "I don't invest in freelancers working from coffee shops. You need a real office, a team, and a proper corporate structure." I thought of Marcus, settling into my old room, setting up his real office, of my parents, who believed success had a certain look to it. "When can we start?" I asked. Victor's resources opened doors I hadn't even known existed. Within 6 months, Atlas Technologies had an office, a growing team, and clients, including Fortune 500 companies. My algorithm revolutionized predictive analytics, and the business world took notice. I worked 18-hour days, pouring everything I had into building something extraordinary. The team grew from 20 to 50, then to over 100. We expanded to 3 floors of a downtown office building. But I kept my name out of the press, on all company documents and public releases. I was simply E. Park Rio. No photos, no interviews, let my work speak for itself. A year later, Atlas Technologies had exceeded even Victor's wildest projections. Our market valuation skyrocketed from $100 million to $500 million. Major corporations came knocking with acquisition offers, but I turned them down. This was my company, built from scratch after being thrown out into the rain. I treated myself to a penthouse, but kept things simple. No flashy cars or expensive clothes. Every extra dollar I made went straight back into the company or into carefully planned investments. One of those investments was in real estate, specifically foreclosed homes through a separate LLC. Then, 3 years after that stormy night, I received a surprising email from my property management team. A house had gone into foreclosure. The address? 1447 Oak Street, my childhood home. I clicked open the attached documents. My parents had taken out a second mortgage to fund Marcus's, sure thing, investment ventures. But those ventures had crashed spectacularly. Now, the bank was foreclosing. I sat still in my office for a moment, staring at the address I knew so well. The rain outside began to fall again, just like it had 5 years ago. I picked up the phone. Sandra, get the property acquisition team on this. There's a house I need them to buy. 2 weeks later, my parents received a notice. Their house had been purchased by Parker Properties LLC. They would need to meet with the new owner to discuss their options. Little did they know, the daughter they'd thrown out in the rain was now the one holding the cards. The meeting was scheduled for a rainy Tuesday afternoon, almost 5 years to the day. I specifically chose that day, remembering how it felt to be left out in the storm, with nowhere to go. I sat in my office, watching the raindrops splatter against the windows. Sandra, my assistant's voice came through the door. They're here, Miss Parker, waiting in the main conference room. I stood, adjusting the fit of my tailored suit. No more bargain bin blazers for me. And how do they look? Nervous. Your father's pacing. Your brother came with them. He doesn't look well. Marcus, of course he was there. He probably thought he could talk his way out of this, charm his way through. After all, he was still the successful one in their eyes. I made my way to the conference room, taking my time with every step. The sound of my heels clicking on the marble floor echoed as a reminder of how far I'd come. I could see them through the glass, my father in his best suit, probably the same one from 5 years ago, my mother gripping her designer handbag, a relic of better times, and Marcus, looking significantly less polished than the last time I'd seen him. I pushed open the door. Mr. and Mrs. Parker, I said coolly, I'm Emily Parker, CEO of Atlas Technologies and owner of Parker Properties. The room fell into stunned silence. My mother's handbag slipped from her fingers, hitting the floor with a hollow thud. My father's face shifted from frantic professionalism to wide-eyed recognition. Marcus just stared, his mouth agape. Emily, my mother's voice trembled. Please, sit down. I gestured to the chairs. We have a lot to talk about. They sat, stiff and uncertain, as if they were seeing a ghost. In a way, they were, the ghost of the daughter they had discarded. I opened my portfolio and leaned forward. Here's the situation. Second mortgage defaulted, primary mortgage in arrears, multiple failed investments. You've put yourself in quite a bind. Emily, please, my father started, his voice breaking. We can explain. I'm not interested in explanations. I cut him off. I'm interested in solutions. I pulled out more documents. Right now, you owe $487,000 on a property valued at $375,000. Not a good position. Marcus, ever the salesman, leaned forward and tried to turn on his charm. Listen, sis, we're family, right? We can work something out. Family? I scoffed, the bitterness creeping into my voice. Is that what we call it? The same family that tossed me out so you could turn my bedroom into an office? He recoiled, the charm draining from his face. I continued, flipping through the papers. I've looked at your financials. Dad's retirement savings, gone. Mom's inheritance, gone. All of it invested in Marcus's sure things. How did that work out for you? Marcus's face flushed red. The market was unpredictable. Oh, really? I replied, because my algorithm predicted every market shift you missed. Atlas Technologies has a 97% accuracy rate in market predictions, but I guess that's just my silly little coding project. Huh, Dad? My father's eyes dropped. He couldn't meet my gaze. 5 years ago, he had thrown me out into the rain. Now, here he was, sitting in my office, needing my help. You have 3 options, I said, pushing the documents forward. Option 1, eviction proceedings begin immediately. You'll have 30 days to vacate. Option 2, you can rent the property at market rate, $3,500 a month. Or option 3. I let the silence hang in the air. We negotiate. They all looked at me, waiting for me to elaborate, to throw them a lifeline, but I wasn't offering them charity, not anymore. first and last month's rent required upfront. I let the silence settle, watching their reactions. 3. My mother asked, her voice hesitant. I smiled, but it was a cold, deliberate smile. I buy out your remaining mortgage, you sign over the deed, and I allow you to stay as tenants at a reduced rate, $2,000 a month, all maintenance included. Hope flickered in my mother's voice. You'd really do that? Under conditions, I said, pulling out another document. First, Marcus moves out immediately. Second, you sign a legal acknowledgement that you have no claim to any of my current or future assets. And third, I let my smile sharpen. You convert my old bedroom back from an office into a proper guest room. I may need it when I visit to check on my property. Marcus shot to his feet, anger flashing in his eyes. This is ridiculous. You're really holding a grudge over a bedroom? Sit down, I said quietly, my voice calm but firm. He hesitated, then sank back into his chair. This isn't about a bedroom, I continued. This is about choices and consequences. You chose to throw away your sister for a home office. Now, your sister owns your home. I stood, walking toward the window. The rain was coming down harder now, matching the heaviness in the air. You have 24 hours to decide. If none of these options suit you, I'm sure the house will sell quickly once it's renovated. Silicon Valley is full of young tech executives looking for nice suburban properties. Emily, please, my father's voice cracked, the desperation finally breaking through. We're your parents. I turned back to face them, feeling the weight of everything that had passed. No, you were my parents, but then you decided Marcus deserved my room, my place in this family, your support. Now, I'm just your landlord. My mother gestured weakly at the office. The view, the success clearly written on my face. I had no idea you'd become this. I interrupted her. That's the problem. You never tried to know me. You were too busy promoting Marcus's mediocre achievements to see what I was building. I pressed a button on my desk. Sandra, please show them out. They have my email for their decision. As they stood, stunned and shell-shocked, I couldn't resist adding one final twist. Oh, and Marcus, Atlas Technologies is launching a new division. We're buying up failed investment firms and turning them around. Your old company is on our list. Funny how life works, isn't it? After they left, I stood by the window for a long time, watching the rain. Sandra brought me a coffee and waited quietly, knowing I needed the space. They'll take option 3, I said at last, breaking the silence. They have nowhere else to go. And your brother? Last I heard, he's interviewing for entry-level positions. Turns out that fancy investment banking career doesn't mean much when your track record is nothing but failure. They did take option 3. My lawyers drew up contracts that were as ironclad as they come, ensuring that this was strictly business, not family reconciliation. Marcus moved into a small apartment across town. My parents, now tenants, paid their rent on time and kept the house in perfect condition. My old bedroom was converted back, exactly as I'd specified. I never stayed there, but I liked knowing it was there, waiting, a reminder of where I'd started, and how far I'd come. Sometimes, on rainy days, I drive past the house, not out of nostalgia, but to remind myself that success isn't just about the money, it's about proving everyone who ever threw you away, wrong. Last month, Atlas Technologies went public. Our IPO was one of the biggest tech launches of the year. My net worth hit 10 figures. The business world finally put a face to E. Parker, and the story of the self-made tech CEO spread like wildfire. My parents sent me a congratulations card. I had Sandra file it away with their rental agreement. After all, business is business, and I learned that lesson on a rainy night 5 years ago, standing in a driveway with nothing but a laptop and a dream. Now, I own that driveway, I own the house, and I own a company worth billions. Not bad for someone who just played with computers all day.